Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to address you here on Veterans Day. At each of three high schools, here at Puyallup, at Rogers, and at Lincoln High School in Tacoma, is a monument to one of their graduates. As you know, at the main entrance here, there's a monument for Lieutenant Victor Leonard Candle. He graduated in your class in 1939, and he was popular at Puyallup High School, and he also enjoyed hunting and fishing in the lakes and woods here in the Puyallup area. After graduation, he attended a business college in Tacoma, often walking 8 miles to Puyallup from Puyallup to Tacoma because he didn't have a car. I would just imagine what it would be like for you to walk to school from wherever you are every day. He joined the Army just before World War II and was selected for Officer Candidate School and became a second lieutenant in the infantry and assigned to the 3rd Infantry Division, which would fight in Italy and France. The 3rd Division became one of the most decorated divisions in the history of the U.S. Army, fighting against Nazi Germany. In October 1944, Candle's unit was bogged down in fighting near Laforge, France, in the Vosges Mountains not far from the German-French border. While leading a patrol into enemy territory, he captured 5 Germans and engaged in a point-blank shootout with a German officer and killed him. Through fog and tough terrain, he then came across a German stronghold, and he rushed forward and forced the surrender of the Nazi gunners. He then circled back to move within 15 yards of a machine gun nest, which he destroyed. Finally, his patrol came across a fortified house. He charged the house, smashed through a barricaded door, and forced 32 German soldiers to surrender. All told, he personally killed or captured 57 enemy soldiers that day. He was recommended for the Medal of Honor for his extraordinary heroism. But Leonard Candle wasn't done. 2 months later, on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1944, he volunteered to lead a night patrol into enemy positions. He didn't need to go, but he did so that one of his comrades would not have to go out that night. And on that patrol, Leonard Candle was killed by a phosphorus grenade. His wife and 2-year-old son were awarded his Medal of Honor posthumously. Candle is buried in the American Cemetery in Epinal, France, and his awards are the Medal of Honor, the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, and the French Croix de Guerre. In front of Rogers High School, across from the student parking lot, there is a monument with the name Ronald J. Shore on it. Ronald Shore graduated from Rogers in 1997 and later Washington State University, where he received a bachelor's degree in business administration. He enlisted in the Army and trained as a Special Forces medic, which included an internship in a hospital emergency room and completion of the National Paramedic Training Program. Staff Sergeant Ronald J. Shore was Special Forces Senior Medical Sergeant during a battle in the Ashok Valley, Afghanistan, in April 2008, when his team was attacked by more than 200 enemy fighters. As his assault element moved up a near vertical mountain towards its objective, it was engaged by fierce enemy machine gun, sniper, and rocket grenade fire. The lead portion of the assault element sustained several casualties and became pinned down on that sheer mountainside. As the attack intensified, Sergeant Shore braved enemy fire to treat a wounded soldier and fought his way up the mountainside under intense enemy fire to treat and stabilize 2 more soldiers. Then he noticed 2 other severely wounded soldiers also under intense enemy fire, and a bullet that had wounded one of these soldiers had also impacted Sergeant Shore's helmet. With complete disregard for his own life, he moved through enemy fire to treat the wounded soldiers, including one whose leg had nearly been severed by sniper fire. Sergeant Shore began to evacuate the wounded, carrying and lowering them down the sheer mountainside, and at times used his own body to shield them from enemy fire. And when the helicopter came in to rescue the unit, he helped to load the wounded onto the helicopter, also while under fire. And then after it left, placed security elements around until they themselves were rescued. He was awarded the Medal of Honor in October 2018 by President Trump. Sergeant Ronald Shore passed away from lung cancer in March 2019 and is buried in Arlington National Cemetery, Virginia. Just south of Rogers High School, there's a nature trail named in honor of Sergeant Nathan Chapman, an Army Green Beret and Puyallup resident who was the first U.S. soldier killed by enemy fire in the Afghanistan War in 2002. Chapman's unit motto was "Stand up and do something," and he once told his wife he joined the Army to fight injustice and help to free oppressed people. At Lincoln High School in Tacoma, there's a monument to Greg Boyington, nicknamed Pappy by his younger Marine Squadron pilots. Pappy Boyington graduated from Lincoln in 1930, where he played football, he wrestled, and swam for Lincoln. He graduated from the University of Washington and was also in their Army ROTC program. He wrestled for Washington and once held the Pacific Northwest Intercollegiate Middleweight Wrestling title, but that's not why he has a monument at Lincoln. After pilot training in the Marine Corps, he started flying for a group of American military volunteer pilots called the Flying Tigers, who were contracted as civilians to fly for China against their Japanese invaders. He shot down 2 Japanese aircraft. Then after the Japanese attacked us at Pearl Harbor that brought us into World War II, he was sent to fly as a Marine Corps fighter pilot in the South Pacific. During World War II, he shot down 14 Japanese airplanes in 32 days, and he totaled 26 before he himself was shot down and captured by the Japanese. And during his captivity, he was abused, beaten, and suffered greatly. But he survived. He didn't know that during his captivity, he had been awarded the Medal of Honor, our nation's highest award for heroism, by President Roosevelt. But it was kept secret from the Japanese, who would have likely tortured and killed him. After the war, President Truman presented him his Medal of Honor. His story was fictionalized in a popular television program in its day called the Black Sheep Squadron, taking the title from the name of his flying squadron, the Black Sheep. Boyington called the show Hollywood Hogwash, but it made him even more famous. Pappy Boyington is buried in Arlington Cemetery next to the grave of Joe Louis, the great boxing champion who served in the Army in World War II. The Lincoln High School monument lists his medals: the Medal of Honor, the Navy Cross, and the Purple Heart. 4 American heroes, all connected to us here. 4 young men who went to serve their country in the highest traditions of duty, honor, and country. We build monuments to our military heroes and hold special events to celebrate veterans and remind ourselves what service to our country means, that sometimes we are called upon to make the ultimate sacrifice for our country and to willingly place ourselves in harm's way to protect and preserve our freedoms. On Veterans Day, we especially remember, celebrate, and thank military veterans for their service to our nation. We proudly wore the uniform, as Nathan Chapman said, to stand between freedom and tyranny, to keep the peace, to preserve our way of life, and freedom against those who would do us harm. We served our country when called, and we did not abandon the cause of freedom. We honor all of those who went before us and those who died in service to us. I hope that someday you will find a way to serve your country, maybe in the military or in some other ways. Become educated and learn skills to make your life better and useful to your community. Become good citizens. Work to make your community better. Always try to live and do what's right and treat others with respect. That's what we veterans stand for. So fly our flag on Veterans Day and remember why we celebrate Veterans Day. I wish you all the very best in all of your endeavors.